That is not exactly true. He made one more visit on Earth before they carted him off to the Grampian Hills. Jack's body was taken to the Pierce Brothers mortuary on Sunset Boulevard. There was a big, gruesome looking clock outside which ticks off your life for you. A group of us gathered at a bar called the Cock and Bull for a general expression of our sadness at the passing of the great romantic. I was particularly sad. I had come to know John pretty well in his declining days, and had even felt favored by the 3 horrible weeks he had invaded my place. With our group was the great and imaginative director, Raoul Walsh, a man with an offbeat sense of humor. Raoul had once been an actor. He was driving along on a locomotion in the Mojave Desert when a jackrabbit sprang up and went through the windshield. He lost his eye and had to wear a patch afterwards. That was the end of his acting career. Walsh left the Cock and Bull early in the evening. I'm feeling badly, fellows. I'm so broken up at John's passing. I'm going home. Good night, pal. But he, Bev Allen, and Charles Miller went down to the local undertaking parlor. Walsh said to the caretaker, "Mr. Barrymore's crippled aunt can't come here herself, but she'd like to have a final look at her beloved nephew. We'd like to take the body to her, just for a while." Saying that, Walsh offered him $100. "I can't do it, sir. It's against the law." "I'll take him in my station wagon and have him back in an hour." Walsh doubled the offer. Walsh and his friends took John's body out of the back exit of the mortuary in a rough box. They stored the box in the back of the station wagon and drove John to my house. The entrance to my house was dark. My servants had gone to bed. They got into the house and brought the corpse inside. They moved my favorite chair in front of the door so that I would see the chair as I entered. They sat Jack in a chair, propping him up. I was drunk, sad drunk. When I reached home, I walked in, sad and alone. As I opened the door, I pressed the button. The lights went on, and, my God, I stared into the face of Barrymore. His eyes were closed. He looked puffed, white, bloodless. They hadn't embalmed him yet. I let out a delirious scream. I turned to run out of the house. I intended getting into my car to flee down the hill, away from my place, away from myself. As I got out on the porch, I heard voices behind me from the inside. Out came Walsh and the others. "Hold on, Errol. It's only a gag." A gag? I went back in, still shaking. They took the body back to the morgue. I retired to my room upstairs, shaken and sobered. My heart pounded. I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. It was no way to remember the passing of John Barrymore. Yet I forgave Walsh. He brought this distorted touch of genius to his films. In his films, he always introduced strange little ideas, those touches which are the mark of the man of a true talent. I was with Walsh at Jack's funeral. Uncle Raoul took a look at me. Jack, he said, Jack would get up out of that box if he could see who was carrying him. Jack would get up out of that box if he could see who was carrying him. The pallbearers were the persons he most hated. One of the consequences of my association with Barrymore and the Olympiads group, which circled around him and John Decker, was the development of an art interest which was to stay with me permanently. The first fruit of it occurred when the Nazis went to the Netherlands. A slight black market operation brought into my possession one of the great Vincent van Gogh pictures. It had been owned by a Dr. Gachet, the personal physician to the artist at the time when Van Gogh cut off his ear in the whorehouse. The doctor had received it in payment for his services, and the artwork had stayed in the Gachet family. At the time when Hitler marched, this painting was owned by a son of Dr. Gachet. The son heard that Goering, who collected heads and art, was about to send to his home for the picture. The painting, called The Man at Sea, The Man is at Sea, was smuggled out of the back door before the soldiers arrived. It was rolled up, a difficult thing to do with a Van Gogh canvas because he laid his paint on so heavily, and smuggled out of the country. I do not know how. Probably God doesn't know either. But it went to Uruguay. From there, it went to New York, where it landed in the hands of an art dealer named D'Orio. He knew that I was looking for art masterpieces, but they must be the very finest, the best of a master's work. The word was relayed to me that this canvas was available. I bought it. I took it back west with me to Mulholland House. There I hung it and invited a few people in to see it. The connoisseurs say that this Van Gogh was done during the artist's most creative, turbulent period. The picture has always been emotional to me because of its reality and symbolism. I, too, had been at sea in my youth, in one way, and destined to be at sea intermittently afterwards. I was also at sea in my effort to find out what things meant. I'm still at sea.